Hi, welcome to our presentation on alcohol misuse and population health. My name is Marcia and my co-presenter is Amy. We're presenting in two parts today. I'll present part one and hand over to Amy for the second half. Firstly, what is alcohol? Alcohol is a depressant and in humans it increases dopamine production and generally makes us feel happy and relaxed, a feeling most of us are familiar with. When alcohol is consumed, it is broken down in the body to acetaldehyde, which is a known carcinogen. Alcoholic drinks are a huge part of the Australian way of life and culture, but alcohol is classed as a drug of addiction and its sale is limited to people over 18. Alcohol is marketed heavily through advertising and sponsorship and is widely available from hotels, liquor shops and restaurants. Alcohol contributes significantly to the disease burden in Australia, in particular to cancer, liver disease, accidental injury and fetal alcohol syndrome. Alcohol misuse also creates significant social disruption, with about half of the reported cases of interpersonal violence, domestic violence and sexual assault related to excessive alcohol consumption. Alcohol-fuelled incidents are also a factor in up to 2/3 of police call-outs and around half of all homicides. All communities in Australia experience harm from alcohol, and 1 in 4 adult men is at risk of an alcohol-related health problem, with 1 in 10 adult women at risk. So what are the enablers and barriers to reducing alcohol consumption? In Australia, there are many primary health programs delivering drug and alcohol misuse awareness education through schools and drug and alcohol agencies, and also via the media with campaigns promoting safe alcohol consumption. Health professionals perform alcohol screening and brief interventions, but research suggests there are many barriers preventing systematic screening due to lack of organisational support, poor resourcing, workforce pressures and inadequate health professional training. A major facilitator for change is system-wide regulation at a government level. There is a significant public perception that alcohol is dangerous, both from a health perspective and social perspective, and should be more regulated. The current situation with alcohol has parallels with tobacco. In the last half of the 20th century, tobacco usage was widely accepted, marketed heavily and loosely regulated. It is now established that smoking is the primary lifestyle factor causing ill health and death in Australia. And in 1990, just over 25% of Australian adults smoked. In 2015, the proportion of adult smokers in Australia has dropped to 14.5%. Way back in 1973, the Australian government introduced laws requiring all cigarette packs to display health warnings. It then took a further 44 years to ban tobacco advertising, increase tobacco taxes, ban smoking in workplaces and public venues, and eventually to restrict packaging of cigarettes to a generic single colour in 2012. The tobacco industry dedicated considerable resources to fighting these changes, and more recently took the Australian government to the High Court to challenge the plain packaging regulations. Fortunately, the tobacco industry's bid failed. The negative health consequences of alcohol are now more widely understood and supported by a much stronger evidence base. There is still a significant gap in reducing alcohol consumption, as evidenced by the widespread use of alcohol and reported significant health and social impacts. The alcohol industry is the main barrier to more regulation. In response to community concerns, the alcohol industry has established a DrinkWise resource to encourage producers to include health warnings on their products. However, only a few producers are including warnings and on labels, and these warnings are quite small and hard to read. The current state of alcohol misuse in Australia does have many parallels with the very long struggle to reduce tobacco use, which was only possible through system-wide or governmental regulations. Over to you, Amy. Thank you.